have one child at Parsons, and the other child is at Hull Middle School and will soon go on to attend Peachtree Ridge High School. Therefore, both of my children will be impacted by the placement of the cell phone tower on school property between Parsons and Peachtree Ridge High School. I urge board members not to move forward with signing the contract to lease school property for 3 main reasons. 1, unknown health risks. 2, financial harm to property values. And please note that 300 students at Parsons are in the Korean DLI program, which does not require students to be in the attendance zone. These families could simply withdraw their student and send them to their assigned school or enroll them in the equivalent Korean immersion program at Yale Charter School just down the road. The third aspect is the most important, which I will explain in detail. It's unfavorable contract terms. So if you look at the lease, paragraph 3, page 1, it says the landlord has determined that a portion of the property is no longer needed for educational purposes. I object to this as there are over a dozen portable classrooms behind the elementary schools, and the school building itself is overcrowded. So that land could be used to build a permanent extension to the school building. The landlord, which is GCPS, has not explained why this property cannot and should not be used for educational purposes. Section 2 of the lease says the tenant shall have the right to alter, replace, expand, enhance, upgrade, etc. The tower company claims that the radiation is harmless and is within allowed levels per federal regulations. But this contract gives the company the ability to add channels like AT&T, Verizon, for as many wireless carriers as they would like, increasing radiation frequency levels without any need for approval from the landlord, which is GCPS, and the impacted audience, which is children and staff. Section 3, this lease shall automatically renew for each successive renewal term unless the tenant notifies the landlord. Note that nowhere in this contract does it give the landlord the right to decline to offer renewal. So what if we change our minds and we think, this is not as good as we thought it would be? There's no way out of this renewal contract. So have you ever been a tenant renting an apartment with this much legal power? I have never heard of a landlord who didn't have the right to terminate a lease, decline to offer renewal, or evict an unwanted tenant. In this case, a cell tower company, the tenant gets to decide, and if they want to stay, it's renewable for 60 years. There are so many other problems with this contract that I don't have time to explain, but we've not been given any of the requested medical research data to support the claim that there are no health risks, nor any technical data proving that a tower is needed in this exact spot. I urge you not to sign this contract. Thank you.
I'm here tonight as a concerned parent, but also as an electrical and RF engineer, to offer my professional analysis of the proposed municipal communication cell tower. I want to be explicitly clear, I'm not speaking on behalf of my employer. I just want to be very clear about that. This is just me as a private citizen in this community. A detailed technical memorandum will be submitted to the board by our group shortly afterwards. Tonight, I want to highlight 3 critical areas where this proposal fails: transparency, technical necessity, and liability. First, the provider claims the Peachtree Ridge and Parsons is the only viable site, but hides the data behind a proprietary label. I can assure you this is a fallacy. While their algorithms are private, service area reliability percentages are standard industry outputs. They are refusing to show comparative data for alternative sites. This goal is likely preferred due to cheap access and existing connectivity, prioritizing profits over planning. You must demand a competitive coverage analysis. Second, the technical justification is flawed. The provider has not shown building loss coverage maps to prove coverage inside school buildings. Without modeling for concrete and steel attenuation, there is no proof this tower significantly improves indoor coverage as they claim. If the goal is better communication systems for staff inside schools, Gwinnett County schools already have a robust Wi-Fi network. Enabling Wi-Fi calling provides an immediate emergency communication layer without placing an outdoor radiation source directly on campus. Finally, we must address the biological reality. Children are not miniature adults. Rashini, it's your time. As this diagram shows, because of thinner skulls and higher tissue water content, children absorb RF energy significantly deeper into the brain. The FCC standards established in 1996 and based on 220. Thank you.
Tiffany, Victoria Vasquez.
Good evening, Chairwoman, board members.
I'm a parent. I'm opposed to the cell tower on school property. I'm concerned about my daughter and other children from continuous daily radiation exposure. Currently, there's not enough research to determine what are the long-term effects for children in close proximity to a tower. Sample size from current research is small. There are not enough data points to pinpoint a conclusive statement. Researchers are in need of minors for clinical trials. This requires parental consent. There are not enough parents willing to put their children in research trials. Researchers are going to look for the next best thing. They will find dense populations of minors in close proximity to a tower. Schools with towers will provide just that. Every child will become a data point. Researchers will study brain development in 10 years after they are out of school to determine long-term effects of cell tower radiation. Placement of a cell tower unintentionally enrolls children in clinical research, making them guinea pigs. Who is putting them in this situation? The school board, to prove or disprove what you cannot prove or disprove today. Federal law requires that participants in clinical trials be fully informed. Are they informed? No, they are not. Minors must have parental consent. Have you gotten consent? No, you have not. Today, there's not enough evidence to conclusively state what are the long-term effects from exposure to RF waves. Majority of research to date involves adults. Children are different. They are not fully developed yet. Therefore, they are more susceptible to changes in their environment. Peter Corey, CEO for Municipal Communications, stated that other countries are 10 years ahead of us. Outside the United States, some countries have responded to research and have taken a measured approach to recognize that vulnerable populations, children, elderly, should be protected. We should be sensitive and not expose our children to unknown risk. It is improper to exploit minors and place them in an environment where risks do exist, but their extent is unknown. Let us put our children first before a lease agreement. I still have a little time. Stephen Knudsen, you had mentioned a little while ago, and I quote you, "I am not going to agree to something unless I know what the end looks like." Well, members of the board, it takes decades, many, many years for research to actually be conducted. Placement of the tower on school property, which we are not looking for. The tower can be placed elsewhere. We do not know what the research will be in 10 years, but we do know that placement of that tower will put our children as data, they will be data points, they will be research. People will look at them and follow them throughout their school years for 11 years, from pre-K all the way through high school. It's improper to put the school.
I am also speaking on behalf of many families that strongly oppose the construction of a cell tower between Parsons Elementary and Peachtree Ridge High School. Our community believes that the developer chose the school property because GCPS sites are not subject to the same UDO zoning requirements that apply to county-owned land. If this tower were proposed on property-owned land, the developers would be required to undergo a far more rigorous review process. According to the Gwinnett County Municipal Code, Chapter 98 to 149, the developers would be required to erect a sign to notify the community 30 days before a hearing, which GPCS did not do so, notify all the property owners within 1,000 feet of the site by mail, undergo other reviews by the planning commissioners, which must consider the height, the setback where the proposed tower would be, the proximity to residential areas and district boundaries, extending existing structures that could support co-location, monthly maintenance trips, and also impact on the property values and the safety for the people around that particular cell tower. If Gwinnett County, the actual county-owned land requires this, why did GCPS not consider these factors? During a town hall with Mr. Burke and the developers, it appears that GPCS did not thoroughly evaluate these issues. They didn't request for independent verifications of coverage gaps and just blindly approve projects without the full consideration of impacts on students, staff, and the surrounding communities. It seems clear that building on school property is simply the easiest path for developers to avoid public scrutiny and regulatory requirements. Our schools should not be used as a shortcut to profit for private companies, especially when consequences fall on our children, our educators, and our neighbors. We strongly request for you not moving forward with building a cell tower at any GCPS school property. If you guys are not looking through what the consequences are, or reviewing like you're supposed to, instead of letting a developer feed you the information that has no fact behind it, please don't approve it. Thank you.
Next.